In an unprecedented move, former President Donald Trump has called on Republican senators to block any new judicial appointments by President Joe Biden during the remainder of his presidency. This demand, issued via social media, shows Trump's increasing focus on reshaping the judiciary to align with his political objectives, even before the 2024 presidential election. Trump's directive signals a shift toward authoritarian tactics that many Americans fear could erode democratic foundations. This video delves deep into the implications of Trump's call for judicial obstruction, examining the potential consequences on democracy, the judiciary's independence, and the integrity of American government. We explore the historical context, constitutional challenges, and potential impacts on key issues, offering a comprehensive view of what Trump's directive means for the United States. Trump's directive to GOP senators, an attempted power play. In his social media post, Donald Trump made a forceful demand: no judges should be approved during this period of time, calling on Republican senators to block Biden's judicial appointments to prevent any further appointments by the current administration. Trump's statement not only defies conventional post-election conduct, but also signals his willingness to undermine the judicial process for political gain. Trump's concerns stem from the slow confirmation process of judges during his first term and his frustration with the judiciary's resistance to his agenda. His recent message was more than just a critique of Biden's administration. It was a call for an unprecedented seizure of judicial appointment power. As Trump positions himself for a potential 2024 presidential run, blocking Biden's judicial nominees would allow Trump to shape the judiciary in a way that aligns with his political vision, particularly on contentious issues like reproductive rights, voting regulations, and corporate regulations. Historical context: Trump's relationship with the judiciary. To understand the weight of Trump's current move, it's essential to examine his previous actions concerning the judiciary. During his first term, Trump successfully appointed 234 federal judges, including 3 Supreme Court justices, a record number for a single term. His appointments solidified a conservative presence in the federal courts, fundamentally shifting the ideological balance. Trump's judicial appointments were championed by then-Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who famously blocked President Obama's Supreme Court nominee, Merrick Garland, citing the upcoming 2016 election. Yet McConnell rushed through the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court just weeks before the 2020 election. This selective approach to judicial confirmations highlights the evolving role of partisan interests in shaping the judiciary. Trump's frustration with the judiciary began after several of his appointees ruled against his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. This perceived betrayal set the stage for Trump's recent directive, reflecting a desire to install judges who would unconditionally support his agenda. By urging GOP senators to halt Biden's judicial appointments, Trump seeks to secure control over the judiciary, reshaping it in a way that aligns with his policy goals. Constitutional ramifications and legal concerns. Trump's call for a judicial blockade raises significant constitutional questions. The U.S. Constitution grants the president the authority to nominate judges with the Senate's advice and consent, a process designed to ensure checks and balances. Trump's demand undermines this principle, suggesting that the judiciary should serve as an extension of the executive branch rather than an independent body. Legal scholars argue that Trump's attempt to control judicial appointments before reassuming office, if he were to win the 2024 election, is unprecedented and dangerous. This move could set a precedent where future presidents and political leaders leverage judicial appointments to enforce their agendas rather than uphold the Constitution. The judiciary's independence is crucial for maintaining democratic integrity, as it provides a check on executive and legislative power. Constitutional law expert Professor John Smith explains, if Trump's approach becomes normalized, we risk turning the judiciary into a tool of political power rather than a safeguard of justice. It could lead to a judiciary that rubber stamps executive orders without scrutiny, compromising the very foundation of our democratic system. The risks to judicial independence and democracy. The judiciary's independence is a cornerstone of American democracy. When judges are appointed based on political loyalty rather than judicial qualifications, the impartiality of the court is compromised. The American public relies on the judiciary to act as a fair and unbiased arbitrator in legal disputes, particularly on issues that affect personal freedoms and civil rights. If Trump succeeds in blocking Biden's judicial appointments, the courts may increasingly reflect partisan interests, creating a judiciary that is no longer accountable to the Constitution but to political power. This shift could have far-reaching consequences for Americans, as judicial rulings would be influenced by political motives rather than the rule of law. For instance, in cases involving reproductive rights, a judiciary pact with Trump-aligned judges could dismantle protections established by previous rulings. The same risks apply to voting rights, environmental regulations, and corporate accountability. A judiciary biased toward a particular political agenda could favor policies that serve corporate interests or restrict individual freedoms, eroding public trust in the legal system. The role of GOP senators, a test of loyalty and integrity. Trump's directive puts Republican senators in a difficult position, as they must choose between loyalty to Trump and their constitutional responsibilities. Some GOP senators may be reluctant to oppose Trump, given his influence over the Republican base and his potential return in 2024. However, compliance with Trump's demands could further politicize the judiciary, undermining its role as an impartial branch of government. Senators like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz have historically aligned themselves with Trump's agenda, making them likely allies in blocking Biden's appointments. Yet other Republicans, such as Mitt Romney and Lisa Murkowski, have shown a willingness to oppose Trump when they believe it is in the country's best interest. Political analyst Sarah Johnson notes, the GOP's response to Trump's directive will reveal the party's priorities. Will they uphold the Constitution, or will they prioritize party loyalty over democratic principles? The decision they make could shape the future of the American judiciary for generations. Impact on key issues: reproductive rights, voting laws, and corporate regulations. Judicial appointments have a direct impact on critical issues that affect Americans' daily lives. Trump's influence over the judiciary could shift rulings on reproductive rights, voting laws, and corporate regulations, potentially reversing progress made in these areas. Reproductive rights. A judiciary aligned with Trump's agenda could restrict reproductive rights, potentially overturning landmark rulings like Roe v. Wade. Such changes would impact millions of women, limiting their access to safe and legal abortion services. Voting laws. Trump-aligned judges may support voter suppression tactics, making it harder for marginalized communities to vote. This could disenfranchise millions of voters, particularly those in minority communities who have historically faced obstacles in exercising their right to vote. Corporate regulations. Trump's judicial appointees are likely to favor deregulation, potentially dismantling consumer protections and environmental safeguards. This shift could allow corporations to prioritize profits over public safety, affecting everything from climate change policies to workplace regulations. Comparative analysis. Lessons from other democracies. History has shown that when political leaders compromise judicial independence, democracy suffers. In countries like Hungary and Poland, leaders have manipulated the judiciary to consolidate power, resulting in diminished democratic freedoms. The United States risks a similar fate if Trump's demands are normalized, as the judiciary could become an instrument of authoritarianism rather than a defender of justice. Comparing Trump's actions to these authoritarian tactics underscores the urgency of protecting judicial independence. Political science expert Dr. Emily Perez warns, the erosion of judicial independence is a red flag for any democracy. If we allow the judiciary to become a tool of political power, we jeopardize the freedoms and rights that define our nation. Trump's endgame: securing control for 2024 and beyond. Trump's recent directive is part of a broader strategy to secure control over the judiciary in preparation for a potential 2024 presidential run. By blocking Biden's appointments, Trump aims to ensure a judiciary that will support his policies, creating a legal environment favorable to his administration should he return to office. This tactic not only threatens the judiciary's independence, but also undermines the democratic process. A judiciary aligned with Trump's agenda could shield him from legal challenges, enabling him to implement policies that restrict civil liberties and strengthen executive power. Trump's directive to block Biden's judicial appointments is a stark reminder of the dangers of politicizing the judiciary. As Americans, it is essential to recognize the value of an independent judiciary in preserving democratic integrity. By holding political leaders accountable and demanding transparency, we can protect the foundations of our government and ensure that the judiciary serves as a fair and impartial guardian of justice. In the face of Trump's demands, the American public must remain vigilant, supporting leaders who prioritize democratic principles over partisan loyalty. Only by upholding judicial independence can we safeguard the rights and freedoms that define our nation. As we look toward the future, it is crucial to remember that democracy is not guaranteed. It is a responsibility that each generation must uphold.